Welcome to my presentation on gun violence and examining the trauma and its impact on students and staff. My name is Tracy Greenberg, and I hope that within my presentation, you will learn strategies for prevention, intervention, and support. Why? Why have I picked this particular cause for my presentation? I worked and grew up very close to Newtown, Connecticut. And the shooting at Sandy Hook has significantly impacted myself. Here are two photographs of my mother, myself, and my children. One year I was pregnant with Benji, pushing Jonah in the stroller. The next year the 2 years later, I have Benji in the stroller. But this is the Wear Orange events that occur across our country, and we attend it almost every year in Newtown, Connecticut, where local legislators come and speak on behalf of the survivors, and we discuss gun safety and gun control. According to the KFF, from 2012 to 2022, nearly 19,700 children ages 17 and younger died by firearm. Exposure to gun violence can negatively impact a child's academic performance and social emotional development. I'd like for you to take a moment and think about how you felt when you heard there was a school shooting, whether that was one that just happened most recently in Wisconsin or one that happened many years ago. There's a gentleman, David Reedman, who put together a database on all the school shootings from just a shot being fired on campus to fatalities such as Sandy Hook, Uvalde. So please take your phones out and scan the QR code to see all the graphs that he had put together. Wisconsin is not part of his database yet, but I am sure after the holidays it should be. There are many impacts on gun violence within our schools that affect our students. For behavioral, we may see aggression, defiance, acting out with withdrawal, isolation, and difficulty forming relationships, difficulty concentrating, and learned increased risk taking behaviors. Our children, in their emotional, psychological, have increased anxiety, depression, PTSD, nightmares, flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, difficulty regulating their emotions, and grief. For their academic impact, this increased school absences, difficulty forming healthy relationship with peers and teachers. I know for my own children, my son, when they spoke of gun violence and if there was a school shooting, he told me, I know what to do, mommy. If there's a shooter in the building, I'll run outside the room, I'll run down the road, I'll go down the driveway, and I'll call Nana on the Alexa if there's a school shooting. He said this to me as I was making him his breakfast. Not only do students have a negative impact on gun violence, but so do the staff. Staff who have direct trauma, teachers who may have been in a building where there was a school shooting or an act of gun violence may experience post traumatic stress disorder, including flashbacks, nightmares, hypervigilance, and avoidance of the events. They may have acute stress disorder, which is similar to PTSD. Some physical symptoms could be headache, sleep disturbance, difficulty concentrating. Teachers who may not have directly experienced the violence may have trauma as well, especially if they've seen injured students or colleagues. Staff members who don't have direct exposure to the trauma still have work still feel it in their lives. They're still impacted. They may witness students' emotional distress. They may feel helpless in their ability to support their students, and they may feel burnout and secondary trauma. According to the NEA, the vast majority of the individuals who carry out mass shootings in a pre K 12 school exhibit behaviors of concern in advance. And 75% of the time, at least one person, often a peer, was aware of the plan. Not only are we seeing an increase in absenteeism, but there is a rise in antidepressants in our young people. As much as I'd love to talk about community based interventions, I want to focus more on what a school can do. Of course, school based interventions means to enhance security measures, control access to entryways, visitor screening, and surveillance. If there is a team that can establish and assess many threats or potential threats, we need to increase mental health support, counselors, psychologists. We need to provide regular professional development for teachers on mental health awareness and trauma informed care and crisis intervention, implementing programs of social emotional learning, such as second steps, zone regulation, or mindfulness, and creating a positive school climate, restorative justice practice, inclusive and fostering safety for our children and for the teachers. As a supporter of the arts, there were a few steps that I want to talk about, especially when it came to how to work through such a trauma. Music and art, rallies. Here are some pictures of the students, the surviving students singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow with Ingrid Michaelson, and the reflective pool that was built by two architects, Dan Affleck, a painter who grew up not far from Newtown, and Ben Waldo. They put together this beautiful installation, and students and staff out of Highland schools shooting in Florida put together rallies, March for Our Lives, as a way to work through and help prevent any future gun violence. According to Everytown for Gun Safety, we must enact and enforce secure firearm storage laws. We have to pass extreme risk laws, raise the age to purchase semi automatic firearms, require background checks on all gun sales, foster a safe and trusting school climate, build a culture of secure gun storage, and implement and endorse school security upgrades. This is a wonderful website to find more information on how you can help prevent any sort of future shooting. I want to thank you on your support to prevent future gun violence in our schools. If you click on this QR code, you will see multiple advocacy groups that are getting involved that have been formed out of Sandy Hook. One in particular that I am a part of is Wingman. It's an organization where they use exploratory play to build relationships between classmates. And sometimes it's in your comfort zone, and sometimes it's pushing out of your comfort zone. And I have also shared some gun safety websites. Thank you again so much for listening. I'm going to close with a reminder of the 4 pillars of kindness: kindness to self, actively be kind to others, recognize acts of kindness, and receive kindness with grace. Have a beautiful day.